Cat on Chicks, Slickback Rocker here, and today I'm going to tell you quite a, I wouldn't say sad, I would say disturbing, kind of weird story about a guy named Eben Byers. Now, I posted on my Instagram story a photo saying how I was fucked up about his death, and now I get all these fucking comments asking me what happened and, you know, how he died, all this other stuff. So today, I'm back here on YouTube. I took a little break, a little 12-day break to see what I could do for the channel. And now I'm back here with a brand new video. You dig? So, this took place during the 19th century, alright? Like 1906, I want to say. I don't know if that's the exact date or not, but we're going to go with it, alright? Eben Byers was a very rich person at the time. You know, he was buying all these properties. He was, you know, a very good golf player at the time. And he was very wealthy for who he was, you know. And he was doing pretty well for himself, you know. For the money he had, he came from a rich, wealthy family. You know, he had more money than he didn't even know what to do with. That's how rich he was. Sometime during the 1900s, during a football game where he went to, he went on a train, you know, he took the train. He was a first class man, you know, he had the first class seats and whatnot. And there was a bunk bed on, you know, in the first class section where you can, you know, take a nap or go to sleep or whatever. And that's exactly what Eben did. That's exactly what Eben Byers did. He went to the top bunk and he took a nap while the train was taking him back to Pittsburgh. I believe that's where he lived. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I believe he lived in Pittsburgh somewhere. Alright? And during, you know, he went to the football game, everything was fine. He came back on the train, he went to the top bunk, took a nap, to his ride back to home to Pittsburgh. On his way back home to Pittsburgh, he fell off his bunk, the top bunk. Alright? So he was sleeping, and then he rolled over to his side and fell on the floor and hit his shoulder. Alright? Now, when he got back up, you know, he's moving around his shoulder to see if it's okay. You know, hopefully it's not broken. All the stuff, he's moving around to make sure everything's fine. And he did feel that his shoulder, I don't know what shoulder it was, that his shoulder was hurting him. Alright? So he waited until he got home to his doctor. He went back to bed. Despite the fact that his shoulder was hurting him, he was able to fall back to sleep and, you know, get home. Off the train, when he got off the train back to his home in Pittsburgh, he went to his doctor and asked what he can do to help numb the pain or get the pain to kind of go away. Alright, he told his doctor, he's like, hey man, you know, my shoulder's been really hurting me. You know, he explained the story and how it happened. And the doctor told him, yeah, I should go away on its own. But there is, and the doctor said to him, but there is this new, you know, medicine out there that might help take the pain away. And the medicine was called Radiclol. And pretty much what it was literally radioactive water. That's all it was. Alright, it was radioactive chemicals and water. That's all it was in a bottle. Alright? And he told him, he's like, well, being a wealthy person you are, you know, you might want to check this out. It's a little bit expensive. It's, I think for a bottle at that time, it was like $15. It took place in the 19th century, so $15 was considered a lot of money for its time. And he told me, like, yeah, you know, being the wealthy person you are, you might want to give it a shot and see if it works. You know, it's supposed to cure any pain. It's supposed to, you know, give you more of an energy boost. You might want to check it out. And Eben said, well, okay, so I'll try it out, you know. So he gives him the prescription, and at the time, this stuff was brand new, you know. This was not something that's been around for a while. It's brand new, you know. It's just on the market. It just got on the market like a few years ago. So Eben said, okay, I'll try it out. So he took the prescription from his doctor, went over to the drugstore, and bought an ounce of it. And you're only supposed to take a teaspoonful of this stuff. You know, you weren't supposed to take too much of it, as you are with most medicines, right? But it started off good, you know. He was taking teaspoons. You know, he was feeling fine. His energy got boosted up. The shoulder and his pain after a while started to go away. Everything was going good for Eben, you know. Until a few years down the line, he started doing more than what was prescribed. All right, Eben started taking the whole bottle, 2 bottles a day to be exact, of this stuff, of this radioactive chemical active water. He was taking 2 bottles a fucking day of this stuff. All right, and most of the time, when you take too much of a pill or a drug, it doesn't go well, right? Well, for Eben's sake, it didn't go well. Because after a few years, he lost his jaw. Alright, his lower jaw came off. Literally, because he took too much of this stuff. Alright? Which he didn't know was going to happen because, at the time, like I said, this stuff was new. This is the 19th century. This is brand new stuff to people in the world. So yeah, after, some times of taking this stuff, his lower jaw literally detached from his upper part of his jaw, and he had only one part of his jaw working. It's crazy. It's fucked up shit, man. But yeah, after that happened, he didn't live too much longer. He lived like a few more years, and then he tragically passed away with his body still being radioactive, because taking too much of that stuff, that goes, into your nerves, into your bones, and it kind of destroys it, and he was literally, after his jaw was removed, he was literally having problems, and he literally started forming holes in the top of his head because he took too much of this stuff. And he died a few years later in 1932 or 6. I don't remember, some year between in the 30s during the Great Depression. He died because he took too much of this stuff. And that kind of comes all together from taking it in the first place, taking too much of it, to just, having the worst come to worst, So yeah, that's kind of the story on Eben Byers and what kind of happened. So hopefully this cleared up some confusion on what happened to him, because I've started to get these comments on my Instagram, my DMs, what happened? What's the story? Tell me the story. I want to know what happened to him. Well, here to fucking go. Here's the story. Alright? So hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, share. I'll be back with regular content by tomorrow, my birthday, which is tomorrow, fucking A. And I will see you guys later. Dig?